Every year, millions of Americans are vaccinated. And for the vast majority of these individuals, they won't experience any sort of injury or side effect due to the vaccine. However, for a small minority of these individuals, they will experience an injury or side effect due to the vaccination. The most common injuries that we see are SIRVA, or shoulder injury related to vaccine administration, and Guillain-Barré syndrome. Now, obviously, this can be a traumatic, life-changing experience to suffer one of these injuries. And the focus initially would be on you're trying to get better and trying to get treatment for your injury. However, what most people don't know is there's a unique federal program that's set up to provide compensation for people who are injured by vaccinations. And it's called the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. What's the purpose of the VICP? So in 1986, Congress passed the National Childhood Vaccine Act. And part of the reason for the Childhood Vaccine Act was to create the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. The idea was to protect vaccine manufacturers and administrators from lawsuits and, in exchange, provide compensation on a no-fault system to individuals who experience injuries. So the purpose is to generously and expeditiously provide compensation to people who can establish that they suffered vaccine injuries. However, in practice, it doesn't always work that way. Who can file a claim in the VICP? So anybody who receives a vaccination in the United States is eligible to file a claim in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, assuming they meet the basic requirements. Those basic requirements include that you timely file your petition, so within 3 years of the date of onset of your vaccine injury symptoms, that your symptoms meet the severity requirement, or in other words, your symptoms persist for at least 6 months, or your injury resulted in a surgical operation and hospitalization. So in addition to those requirements, you also have to have received a covered vaccination. So what vaccines are covered by the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program? Well, any vaccine that's recommended for routine administration in children and pregnant women will be covered. So some of the more common vaccines that are administered that aren't covered under the VICP include shingles and, for now, the COVID vaccine. So what can you expect after filing a claim in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program? Well, first, along with your petition, you file all of the evidence to support your case. And once you've filed all the evidence, the government or the Department of Health and Human Services will review your petition, review the evidence, and make a determination. This takes some time as they go through all your evidence. And once they've completed their review, they will either concede or dispute your claim. Disputes are handled through the court system, so the U.S. Court of Federal Claims. And at the end of the case, there can either be a judgment awarding you compensation, a settlement that's reached with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, or a judgment from the special master awarding you compensation.